Hello, welcome to my humble abode, the pit of Lee. Let's begin. I smear poop on my face each morning. I cup my hands neath the toilet seat to catch my gooey treat. The warmth in my hands and experience I relish, I dare not lose thy steamèd heat. Mash it in a bowl, with fingers it plays, like chocolate or clay. Applied to the face, pimples do erase, and obtain me a girlfriend, I pray. Are you aware of my words, aware of my patterns? Do you feel like you're hearing a speech? For if you're still listening, if you're still engaged, then I'm classified as a leech. And now, you're listening. I formed a mushy anecdote. Awareness of syllables, poetic structure, foreshadowing, pathos, all tools in the creation of a compelling opening paragraph to persuade your frontal lobe that observing this sky will yield a higher return than pondering my evening plans. But you've seen this before. Youthful energy and stage presence often presents an image of twerking down the trail less traveled when your orator merely bows his head and shuffles down the grassy one with better claim. Such bells and whistles seem unique, but are shared by peers. Any person accomplishing a task uses a set of tools. The way a person goes about completing said task is determined by the tools at his disposal. What's in his toolbox is determined by his schooling and past. These tools are often obvious and repetitive. For example, every successful orator knows that broad generalizations make a terrible thesis, and obvious transitional terms like, for example, should be avoided in an introduction lest they lead to a false conclusion that the following sentence is a poorly labeled intro to said orator's first topic, when in fact it really serves as a sort of signpost to an unnecessarily long run-on sentence that heralds the arrival of my actual thesis. That's right. A compound, complex sentence with 4 dependent clauses expressing my hate for clearly indicated signposts that clearly indicates a signpost. Today I will speak primarily about the ubiquitous toolbox system of our world, explaining what it is, expanding on its success rate, and detailing why we must trust in it. Many of the same tools are used to create great things, which is why successful stories often have similar elements. This idea is most effectively communicated with Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces. His theory states that the most prominent myths from around the world share a common structure. The monomyth. A hero ventures forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are there encountered, and a decisive victory is won. The hero comes back from his mysterious adventure with the power to bestow. Stop. This word is important. Don't forget it. It's gonna come in later. Boons. Got it? Good. On his fellow man. I maintain that this gooey treat can be stuck in places besides one's ears. Why not smeared on our faces as well? While it is entirely possible for someone unaware of the strength of his intestinal tools hold to develop something marvelous, what one does with his product is often due to chance alone. Statistically, it makes sense. Millions of artists posting millions of songs eventually yields a very rich spammer. See the based god. More often than not, however, truly great creation with meaningful substance have been made with deliberate strokes. Qualified individuals, learned in their craft via experience and careful practice, knowingly apply delicate intricacies that often, and not always, warrant achievement. Wherever the person poops. The achievement comes with spoils of monetary value, relative to the effort put into the individual's work. This has to do partially with the labor theory of value, and is essentially how society, at a very basic level, functions. So, logically, if the amount of effort one can put into one's work is dictated by the amount of schooling this person possesses, institutional or otherwise, and monetary reward is directly relative to the effort put into the product, then those with the most experience and education are capable of obtaining the most luscious and multitudinous rewards. The aftermath of this reaction gives the aforementioned qualified individual the most potential power. He has the most money. He can cause the most change. Well, this is absolutely marvelous. Looking only at this idea, at this concept alone, life is beautiful. Life is fair. Put good in, get good out. Simple and clean. Wait. Politicians are rich and successful, but their work is corrupt. Celebrities are world-renowned and make millions, but their work is insubstantial. The system is broken. Parasites reign. Not quite. People learn and have experiences in their specific fields. Morals are not a factor. Though Castro, for example's work, it may be corrupt, it's effective and reflects the time he put into it. Hitler's trains ran on time. In addition, Kim Kardashian can't turn left to save her life, but practical life is not what Kimmy Kim has been trained for. She's dealt with the public eye since 1994, when her father kept O.J. Simpson out of prison. In 2007, 13 years later, Kim's sex tape brought her back into the public eye. She made millions off of subsequent reality TV shows, and in 2013 remains a force to be reckoned with. Our impression of the work does not diminish its worth. It takes about 12 years to learn the practice of neurosurgery. How long did Kimmy Kim have? But parasites do reign, if that's what you call a parasite. Look at Miley Cyrus. She used, perhaps, the most powerful tool at her disposal. Indirect negative publicity. She took a very old idea, any publicity is good publicity, and streamlined it for success. Any publicity in regard to an aspect related to but not defining the subject itself is excellent publicity. This phenomenon was confirmed by a Stanford study led by Alan T. Sorensen. At the VMAs, she took this theory into the field with remarkable success. After foam fingering with Robin Thicke, she caused a technological typhoon on social media sites, and soon everyone who knew her name had an opinion about the fledgling Disney princess. Wrecking Ball, the anticipated follow-up to her hit single Can't Stop, as of October 5th, sold 1,467,000 copies. Spawn of Mr. Achy Breaky Heart is by no means the first example of a performer using controversy to achieve an ungodly level of wealth. Popular artists anywhere on the spectrum, from Eminem to Elvis Presley, are guilty of the same sin. They are not parasites, no matter how much they take. For whether they like it or not, any action they take has an effect, often as large. Cyrus has permanently altered our world. Her music will shape my generation, and her influence will change what we find fashionable. This is not always so, and certainly the change is not always positive, but Newton's law of motion applies on more than just a physical level, and I like to think it has fewer than greater exceptions. For this reason, the toolbox system must be trusted, and success of people with immense experience is integral to our global society. In 1996, the University of Oregon Ducks lost heart in a football game, the annual Cotton Bowl. Phil Knight, CEO of Nike and former U of O student, vowed to improve Oregon's program, and did just that with liberal use of his own toolbox. He initiated the development of uniforms that aesthetically pleasing only to college players. His blatant pandering overstated the appeal of the school, as at the time the small-town community had nothing going for it, not to mention the terrible academic reputation of the school itself. Knight found other potential backers, however, and by 2010 had supplied Eugene's claim to fame with over $128.2 million in renovations and additions. Knight used knowledge gained from marketing his company to turn worthless little Eugene into a college town on the same tier as Berkeley. But Eugene was just the start of his... Guys, here it is! Okay, you've been waiting for like 3 whole pages for this. Are you ready? Ready? Boom! Nike had a $3.15 billion income increase after only 8 years. Since its partnership with the Oregon Ducks, Nike has been able to donate more than $500 million toward cancer research. The Nike Foundation has also started a campaign called the Girl Effect, in collaboration with the Novo Foundation, United Nations Foundation, and Coalition for Adolescent Girls. Their goal is to invest in young women who would normally become economic disabilities in countries like India, Kenya, and Nigeria, to increase the economic potential of foreign nations. The toolbox system allows its victors to cause direct change in any way they deem appropriate. Ignoring outliers, the most qualified people to do so will be the ones in control of our world. Though opinions differ, humankind shares a brotherhood of man that statistically ensures our safety. Learned people have become so, in classifying a certain amount of occurrences as facts, or common truths, and are rewarded because their beliefs, built upon in their works, are shared by others. Therefore, the more common truths a person promotes, the more power that person has to change the world. Common truths held by so many often change, but could the person with the most power, in resonating with the most people, do wrong? Statistically, the common truths that person could promote, the actions she or he could take, are more likely to be deeds operating in the favor of the most people. Statistically, this includes you. The toolbox system indirectly aids the majority when it isn't accomplishing a specific task. We are greatly affected. It always, will always, and has always, in every case, tense and even voice, changed everything collaterally. It molds the culture of our world. Such a powerful tool requires use, but of course needs direction. Juxtaposition of Robert Frost and Miley Cyrus doesn't define your work, it helps to prove your point. In the same way the tools in your box need something to be used for, a motive. The shovel has a million applications, but a homicide won't help you dig a ditch. So let's put direction into our formulas. The adjectives attached to your purpose are empty, so long as your purpose is yours. Act with purpose. Find meaning in your movement, and you will command the attention of the world. Thank you.